My name is Jason, aka Northwest Sawyer. I started out milling 8 years ago as a hobby, and it kind of took over my property here. But mainly I'm milling dimensional lumber. I do a lot of cedar fence boards. I do some hardwood stuff, mostly per a client's log they'll bring me. But yeah, most of it is timbers and custom lumber. When I first started this, I gave no mind to moisture content, and I built things. I started out building things that the moisture content didn't really matter, but then when I started getting into furniture, I learned very quickly that moisture content is critical. I would never put my name on something that I didn't check the moisture content on, and that I didn't send out the door knowing that it had the best chance of being a quality product. Not so much with dimensional lumber like framing lumber and fence boards and stuff, because it's a given that stuff's gonna move around, and most of the stuff you buy at Home Depot is pretty wet anyway. But with hardwoods and wood that you're trying to sell for what it's worth, when it's in a good workable condition, you've got to know what your moisture content is. It is the one thing that you cannot fake. Milling green logs, green meaning they're freshly cut, you're gonna have a process of drying. Sometimes that process is going to involve warping. Sometimes you're gonna end up with mold on the wood. Sometimes it's things you can mitigate, like the biggest thing with mold is keeping air movement. Stagnant air will slow down the drying process. It will encourage the mold growth. But again, if you try and dry wood too fast, you can create cracking and warping. And so a good rule of thumb for me has been mill the logs, let it air dry. I think the general rule is a year per inch, which sounds like a lot of time. If you don't have the patience for it, it's not possibly the thing that you want to be working with. But once wood is air dried for a year per inch, then you can start looking at ways of accelerating the drying. There are kilns that you can take wood to locally. I've taken some cedar to a kiln before. There's my method of the cargo trailer with the dehumidifier. Again, wood is its own creature, and you can't force it to do anything it doesn't want to do. So the best thing is to have some patience and just know that there is a process, and it's not a fast one. But if you follow the process, you'll end up with the best material that you possibly can. So my moisture management came out of necessity. I lost $7,000 on a table that I probably was punching above my weight class trying to build this table. I clearly didn't know enough about the importance of moisture content, and I put something out that I was not proud of when it came back to me. And moving forward, the investment in my moisture meters has more than paid for itself. It's cheap insurance. Again, if you're gonna stand behind your work, you should put out the best product, and it cannot make anything out of wet wood or it'll come back. Maintaining moisture contents, again, it kind of goes back to just monitoring the moisture of the wood that you want to work with and dealing with it at that time, because to set up a climate-controlled wood storage facility isn't practical for most people. So the best thing to do is to have the tools to tell what your moisture content is and then deal with it accordingly. Controlling the moisture is a far more daunting process than dealing with it when you need to use it.